Hello viewers, you made it to episode 5. Episode 5 is a bit personal for me because we're going to be talking about the car that brought me into vintage speedsters. It comes with a big bag of history. I think, and this is my opinion, there are a couple of different types of collectors, if you call it like that. First, there's the collector that wants to buy that car and just set it in the garage and look at it. Then there's one that is closely related to this one, which is the investor, the one that buys it for the price, looks at it as well, but it's watching how it goes up in pricing for the right moment to sell it. There's then the grease monkeys, the ones that want to have the project, the ones that want to get their hands dirty every weekend because they're doing something different to the car every day. And there's the one who wants to use it and don't want to do nothing. And none of those are better than the others, we're just different collectors. But I'll be honest, I am one of the last. The only thing I want to do when I get it, when I get my collectible, the only effort is to turn that key, put my arm around that seat, and just go cruising. So if I want to do that every weekend or every day, to say, put it like that, I need less moving parts because 35, 40-year-old cars do tend to break down. I'm gonna tell a little story. I recently got myself a 951, or what we call the 944 Turbo, Aries 87. She's in prime condition. 50,000 miles, she's in top shape. Everything is done to that car. Nevertheless, the first week that I got her, I went to turn the engine, it cranked, it didn't start. It took me a couple of days to figure out what happened and call the mechanic. And when you have an old car, I think you're going to agree with me that you take your car to the mechanic and you hand over the keys and you hand over the wallet. And you hope for the best until he calls you up and tells you that he's ready to hand back both of them. So I was lucky that this time around it was a sensor, and I'm using Ginger, as I call her, because she's red. Every day now. But with that in mind, before I got her, I had the idea of having less moving parts into having an electric motor, because it's a lot less complicated than a combustion engine. So with that idea, I started going on the internet and I bumped into vintage speedsters, where, as you can see, they custom do everything. It was a 944, it was a 356 replica, but it just got more interesting. Even though it wasn't an 80-something car, which was my era as a teenager, which is kind of what we all want to do, relive that era, but it was an iconic, Porsche model. So with that in mind, I decided that I wanted to do an electric. So I came into Vintage Speedsters. I walked with a crazy idea in Matt's office, and he said, you know what, I'll build it. I've been looking forward to doing that, and definitely that's where the auto industry is going. If you look at Tesla, if you look at all the electric models that are coming out, certainly that's where we're heading, even though with new cars or collectibles. So this episode, it's called DS356E, because it's Vintage Speedster. 356, the replica model that we do in Vintage Speedster, and obviously the E, because it's going to be coupled instead of a combustion engine. And please, purists, don't, take it easy. I know that you want to hear, the roaring of that combustion engine. But again, we're going back to less moving parts. And how cool can it be to have an iconic, 50-something car hooked to a Hyper 9 Tesla battery-operated model. So that's what we're doing. God willingly, in around October, November, we're going to be back with the next episode where we're going to be hooking up the car to that electric motor. And at the end, they're going to be handing over the keys, and we're going to take it for a ride and see how it goes from there. So I hope that you are as interested as I am to see what happens with that model. We're going to keep you posted. Please subscribe down here And we'll keep you posted not only in that car, but everything else that it's going out in Vintage Speedsters, because there's something new every day. So thanks for your time.